My name is Scott Andrews. I live at 1083 Bright Stream Way. We request approval to have a construction.
I have to read off the application first.
I'm sorry.
So that's Bright Stream Way accessory building located at 1084 Bright Stream Way. The applicant is Scott Andrews. He's requesting a preliminary final approval associated with construction of an 816 square foot accessory building. This is located on a 0.73 acre parcel and located in an R2 single-family residential district under 26911, 35011, and 35013 of the Code of the Town of Webster. Now we'll go ahead.
My name is Scott Andrews. I live at 1083 Bright Stream Way. I request approval to have constructed a accessory building, which would be tucked into the area where my present shed is now, the wooded lot, and have the shed moved over to the northeast portion of the property, all within the setbacks required.
Okay, there's a shed there. I think some of us have been overlooked it. You got a pretty good sized shed back here now, right?
It's 10 by 16.
I'm sorry?
It's a 10 by 16.
Yes, it is, okay. So you propose to move that?
I'd like to move that to the northeast property, use that for gardening, planting stuff over there, and have, basically I want to get my garage cleaned out so I can put all my tools, lawn equipment, snow blowers, generators, and store stuff inside the accessory building.
Okay, so what you're proposing actually is 800 and something square feet. I calculated it out, I have the numbers here. Where is it? I'm right here. The maximum that would be allowed would be 633 square feet. So the 800 can't happen. Now, there's apparently been a lot of flooding, drainage issues.
There has been. My neighbor Mike Fairchild, when I first moved in, advised me of flooding in that area, where he showed that the last 33 years, it came up about where his children's playground area is. And just last week we had that happen. And I photographed all the area what I'm looking at, and nothing was underwater at that point where I would put these buildings. I still plan to put maybe a few 3 or 4 more inches of stone to get it up higher as well.
So if you move the shed, you're putting it more into the wet area, correct? Now, isn't that area, is that a wetland area back there, Josh?
It's a floodplain.
It is?
Yes.
I don't think that'd be,
There are some low areas in the lot where we bought, and I propose to put some drain tile there to, right to the creek dump. The backyard, from west to east is graded down right to the stream. So I run up and go straight back to the stream.
And just so you're aware, the 100-year floodplain on this property comes up into, it's about 20 feet off the patio.
Roughly, yeah.
So the entire area where the shed would be, this building would be placed is within the 100-year floodplain.
yeah. I don't think this is going to be too simple project to approve. You know what? This is a public hearing. I don't know if there's anyone wishing to speak. Well, you know what? Why don't we see what they all say? Would you like to comment on it?
Sure.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay.
Sure, go right up. Give us your name and address.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I do have some handouts.
Sure, you can pass them.
Okay. I only have 7.
That's okay.
This is just my comments as well as some pictures that may be helpful in determining a path forward.
Any extras, Mike?
I'm sorry, Scott, I only had mine and 7, so sorry about that. Again, good evening, everyone. My name is Mike Fairchild. My wife and I live at 1081 Bright Stream Way in Webster. We've lived there for 36 years. I'm here to express opposition to the proposed plans for a large accessory building that our neighbor at 1083 Bright Stream Way wants to erect next to my property. Currently, there's a 160 square foot shed, 10 feet by 16 feet, next to our property that he plans to move to the northeast part of the lot, as he mentioned, closer to the creek, and replace it with a permanent 816 square foot accessory building. The accessory building is 24 feet by 34 feet, with a peak height of, I believe, approximately 14 feet. That's 5 times larger than the current shed. And for perspective, it would be large enough to accommodate 4 average-sized cars. Presently, if you look around our neighborhood, there's not one other accessory building on Bright Stream Way. The reason? Bright Stream Way is a small, quiet, residential neighborhood. The residents there want nothing more than to preserve and maintain the residential atmosphere, appearance, and character of Bright Stream Way. Adding this large accessory building will not achieve that goal. Every neighbor that I've spoken to agrees. Note that I've documented other reasons of our opposition to this proposal utilizing the town's online form. In addition, images and drone video has been submitted via a thumb drive for the planning board to review. The drone video is very telling and shows the extreme flooding that can occur in the backyard of 1083 Bright Stream Way, where the accessory building is proposed to sit. In our 36 years of living on Bright Stream, we've learned that Mother Nature must be respected. The creek floods neighborhood backyards, and the large 150-foot cottonwood trees and fall. Using good common sense is key with regard to one's property. There is no doubt that I would never build a structure of value in my flood-prone backyard. Please refer to the pictures in the handout if you don't mind. I believe it's starting on page 3. On March 8, 2017, trees blew over due to a major wind event in our backyard. Fortunately, none of the large cottonwood trees came down. Major cleanup was required, as the pictures show. A month later, on May 1st, 2017, due to a heavy rain, the creek overflowed and flooding occurred. The last picture in that packet, looking northeast, shows the backyards of our property and part of 1083 Bright Stream Way. Now you may be thinking, what does this have to do with my neighbor's accessory building? Well, if any structure, including an accessory building, is constructed in a heavily treed area that is particularly flood prone, what you see in these pictures can have a major negative impact on that structure, the neighbor's property, and ultimately my property. I have 5 more bullets and then I'm done. Number 1, the large accessory building, if approved, would negatively impact the beauty and serenity of our backyard, as well as the monetary value of our property. No one wants to look at their backyard and see a large, unsightly structure sitting along their lot line. Number 2, a large structure, such as an accessory building, could exacerbate flooding and drainage in the backyard at 1083 Bright Stream Way, which would impact neighboring properties, including ours. Number 3, the creek width years ago was 3 to 4 feet. It is now 8 to 10 feet, and even more in some areas. Erosion of the creek is a serious concern. A large accessory building could divert floodwater, change creek flow, and exacerbate erosion. Number 4, there is not sufficient space on either side of the house at 1083 Bright Street for large construction vehicles to access the backyard, and we certainly do not want damage to our property due to vehicles, equipment, or construction workers utilizing our property for their convenience. Number 5, in the fall, winter, and spring, backyard turf is sometimes wet and fragile. Driving a vehicle on the wet turf can be problematic. Installing a paved surface to the backyard to access the building is not an option due to easements on either side of the house. That's all I have. I appreciate your time this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, I think there's, looking at the drawing, there's 16 feet, I believe, on either side. On either side of the house, to the lot line. And facing the house on the right side, you've got a quite large tree there. So how would you, what would be your, if this thing moved anywhere, how would you get down there?
There's nothing, there won't be any vehicles down
It won't be what?
there. And this is strictly for storage down there, my tools, toolboxes, like I said, lawn equipment, smoke blowers, generators, all the outdoor furniture. We have no space in our garage because of the fact that we can't, the easement does not allow for an extension on our garage. We're looking to get some of our cars back in the garage.
I don't recall, excuse me, I don't recall us approving anything this large in, you know, on a regular residential lot. I don't ever recall it. Generally, something that size is on, you know, a few acres of land or something of that nature. Not with adjoining neighbors, which I have to agree, the visual of it, looking out your yard from next door, either side, seeing a big shed in the back there does block the view, number one. Number two, we've seen the pictures of the water draining down through there. I don't think that's appropriate to have a structure within that waterway. Anybody, any concerns or issues?
I agree with you. When I drove over there, I took a look at the whole neighborhood and also the neighborhood behind me. The shed he's got there now stands out like a sore thumb, and that's 10 by 16.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're going to double the size of that, and we're going to totally out of place for the totally out of place for the
Yeah.
I would be willing to reduce the square footage of the building, and I also have pictures to show of when the flooding happened last week, that there was no water near the shed in it.
Well, the concern with the flooding is not necessarily what you see on that. I saw last week, or I saw last year basis. This area has actually been delineated FEMA for the width and where the actual flood zone is. So the building is going to be within the floodplain for the time. Never seen the water get that high, it just hasn't happened. So it'll be a structure together. And again, I would have to agree with everybody else. This size building, we typically see on larger lots, over 3 acres. It doesn't really seem to fit the character of the neighborhood. And I think even at size at this point, I don't have great expression on it, but it is bigger than what's allowed.
And also, on your environmental review, you did mark that it's not in a 100-year floodplain, which really it would be. So that's marked in error on there. Okay, so, anybody else? Eric?
It's too bad.
All right, so everybody's in agreement. I don't think we're going to be approving this thing. I mean, as presented, yeah, I mean, I think you've got the one there, that's an adequate shed for the backyard there, as it stands, in my opinion. And you're going to This is a public hearing, so if there was anyone else wishing to speak.
Mr. Chairman, I do have a thumb drive of, my wife actually took a video of the flooding a couple weeks
Yeah,
ago.
we've seen.
Well, no, this is from my wife. It's not one that you've seen.
Huh?
And there is a water, standing water in front of the current shed, if you'd like to see it.
Can you show that?
Yeah.
It might be good to see it.
It's very brief.
Yes, it's only 10 seconds, and she was getting rained on, so it was pretty quick.
Okay.
I believe it's the second one on there, not the first one. One was about 800 meg, the other one was about 19 meg.
Yeah. Yeah, what's that? Yeah, that was in Marshall, yeah. That's it there. Yeah. That's running like a river there, too. Okay, I think what we need to do is, I think, deny the application as presented. I'll make a motion, we deny the application as presented, based on the information, the size, and even with the location of the proposed, relocation of the proposed existing shed.
If I was
Which would
to-
be even more into the wet area.
Chairman, excuse me, if I was to come back and table this and come back with a smaller size building and not put the shed over in the northeast corner, would that be considered?
Yeah, based on the acreage you've got there, you'd be allowed a shed, but the shed that's existing, to me, is a very substantial shed for a backyard in a residential area. Most sheds people put in are 8 by 10, 10 by 12, things of that nature. They're small, you know, this is pretty good size. I can't tell you, you can't come back with it. I mean, that'd be your prerogative to do that, but I don't know where it would go, based on where the floodplain is, where the water is. You know?
It comes up, and right now, there's no water back there at all. You know, it flooded, and it goes right back down. So we have drain tile and floodgates.
But but again, that's designated as a wetland area, you know, floodplain area. All right, I'm gonna make a motion, we deny the application as presented. Second.
Mr. Kashani.
Aye.
Mr. Mixel.
Aye.
Mrs. Malden. Mr. Kosel.
Aye.
Mr. Anderson.
Aye.
Mr. Long.
Aye.
That's it.